Welcome aboard everybody to the Norwegian Pearl, which I took a transatlantic cruise from Barcelona to Miami last December. Now this is part 2 of the ship tour. If you want to see part 1, there's a link at the end of this video and of course in the description below. And in part 1 we started off on deck 5 and we went all the way up to deck 8, taking in Le Bistro French Restaurant, Indigo main dining room, Summer Palace main dining room, bars and entertainment, Stardust Theatre, Casino, Magnum Champagne and Wine Bar, Cigar Club, Maltings Beer and Whiskey Bar, Shakers Martini and Cocktail Bar. We then had a look at the Lotus Garden Asian Restaurant, Teppanyaki Sushi and the Atrium Cafe. Again, the Bliss Ultra Lounge and Nightclub, Sake Bar, Atrium Bar, Retail Shop, Photo Gallery, Tradewinds Tax Duty Free and the Art Gallery. And of course the Atrium, which has the guest services, cruise consultants, shore excursions, internet cafe and Starbucks and the Atrium Bar. And then we finished off that video in Ocean's Bar and Grill and relax, and we will go from deck 9 right the way up to deck 14. Decks 9 and 10 are really just cabin staterooms, and so is deck 11. However, there is a little gem on deck 11 which we are dashing to now, which is the bridge viewing room. Now, it's a real hidden gem. Lots of people I talked about when I said I've been in the bridge viewing room, they went, where's that? What's that all about? Well, this is what it's all about. On deck 11, obviously follow the journey I just took there, and you can have a proper good look at what's going on in the bridge. Now, there are curtains, so they can obviously shut that across if they don't want you having a look, but I caught some great views in there. And to be honest, from the bridge viewing room, I saw more of the bridge than when I went on the behind the scenes tour of the bridge. And that is the next video, by the way. So we've got part 1, decks 5 to 8, and this is 9 to 14. And the next video, we are going to show you behind the scenes of the laundry and the galleys, the kitchen, etc, etc. There's a lovely model in here, which also is great for sort of trying to work out your bearings in 3D. And also, obviously, they're looking at lots of lovely technology and information. And here in the viewing platform, you can also see what's going on with the ship, the bearing it's taking, the speed it's going, and all other navigational things. Now, as we move on to deck 12, deck 12 is probably the busiest deck on the ship, he says. And I much preferred it at night. I thought it was beautiful lit up like that. And the sort of neon light of the pool. I thought it was that's when I preferred it. I'm not one for sitting by the pool. Of course, many people are. Now, this was a transatlantic cruise, a repositioning cruise. So the weather wasn't great all the time, but I tell you, the pool deck was busy. There was always something going on. There was always entertainment up there during the day. And of course, we were heading into the Caribbean and Bermuda, so it did get busier at points. And so, yeah, not too busy on a transatlantic cruise. I don't know how this would have been for space if you were, say, cruising around the Med in peak of summer or the Caribbean, in peak Caribbean season. But there was certainly plenty of space. Now, also on deck 12, you'll find the spa and the thermal suite, and of course what you're looking at now, the fitness centre. Not a port of call for myself on a cruise or any of my hotel stays, which you know if you watch my videos. Now, I haven't filmed the spa or the thermal suites or anything like that because I think they're private. It's a little bit rude. I think a little bit bad form to film people while they're in a spa or a solarium or a sauna, etc, etc. So, and I probably got thrown off the ship if I had have done. So anyway, we have the gymnasium and the fitness centre. And I suppose there's a very good reason, well, I couldn't think of it for myself personally, but a very good reason for using the gym and the fitness centre is because also on deck 12 we have the Garden Café Buffet. Can I get some pork, please? Have you got any crackling? Any of the crispy bit? Oh, thank you. Yes, I think it's fair to say I'm more at home in the buffet than the fitness centre. Shame on me. But saying that, my favourite place for breakfast, although there's absolutely everything here, my favourite place for breakfast was actually in the Summer Palace, the main dining room. I like the formal breakfast and the poached egg on toast. You couldn't get poached eggs up here. But the poached egg on toast, and the best thing about the main dining room for breakfast, and also O'Shea's, was you got a pot of tea. But anyway, you can see all that in my dining video, the complimentary dining video that I made. And also you can see more of those restaurants in part 1 of this tour, which of course links in the description. And there is a link to the playlist of all my videos on the Norwegian Pearl, which covers my entire experience. So if you're planning a trip on the Norwegian Pearl or any Norwegian ship, it'll give you a great insight into what's going on. Anyway, back to the buffet. One of my favourite things about buffets is the combinations. So here you can see I had poppadoms and roast beef, a little bit of horseradish, and a little bit of salad, vegetable salad on the side. I love being able to do that. I also love being able to do that. What a view. Now, a bit more of the sedate lifestyle. On deck 12, we also have our card room. Now, strangely, the card room was often used for painting and things like that, and they then moved the card players, because there were quite a lot of card players, to the Asian restaurant during the day. But here is the card room. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning, so I could film it empty. And also, I could show you around the library, because the library was always busy. There were always people in the library, but not at this silly o'clock time in the morning. And I was actually planning, I never got round to it, I was planning on coming up. You could see those desks. And I was going to come up and do some work. I did some work in my cabin. I did have a small desk, but I thought it would be more library-ified to work there. Now, I mentioned this was a transatlantic cruise, and it wasn't in school holidays, so it gave me the opportunity to film the video arcade, which of course is something I wouldn't normally be able to film. So yeah, and look at this air hockey. It's curved. Never seen that before. I kept, when I'm doing this, I'm thinking I must come up here and have a game, but never did. Deck 13, unlucky for some, not if you like good steak, because this is where you'll find Cagneys steak restaurant. And this was my final speciality dining meal, and I had the most wondrous New York strip steak with a classic béarnaise sauce, and not in shot, but I also had some truffle and parmesan fries, which was absolutely fantastic. That was not my favourite meal on board the ship, but that's in the dining video, so you have to watch that to find that out. And also we have the Brazilian dining restaurant, the meat restaurant, and this is also the private breakfast restaurant for people staying in the Haven, which the Haven is on sort of deck 12 and 13, but that's where the posh folk stayed, so I didn't take my camera around there. Also on deck 13, right in front of you, is the Sky High Bar. And that was brilliant. That was an incredibly sociable bar, because it's also the smoking area. So there was always people there, and they were an incredibly sociable bunch. The guys behind the bar were great fun. Really good service up there. And as you can see, deck 13 also walks around the whole ship. Great views coming in and out of ports up there, absolutely fantastic. And also you can see deck 14, which I'll take you up there in a second. This is deck 13 at night. As I said, I really enjoyed the ambience of the place in the evening. I loved the lighting. It was really nice. There's the Haven. That's where the posh folk hang out. So, anyway, this place, Spinnaker Bar. Yes, it could be very quiet. This, again, is filmed very early in the morning when there's nobody about. And yes, cruising for old people? Well, of course it is. It's a very sedate way of holidaying. Very relaxed, and oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, this was a great bar at night on deck 13. So I'd have a few drinks at the Sky High Bar, a few drinks in the Spinnaker. Yeah, good fun, great people, and I highly recommend it. Deck 14 and beyond, again, I filmed this at silly o'clock in the morning. As you can see, these wide open spaces, and all the sun lounges are stacked away. because I'm not going to film people in their bikinis and their swimming trunks. It's an antisocial thing to do. So you've got to imagine this with people. And it's a wonderful place. Great sun traps and also quieter areas of the ship at times. But yeah, and what a shower. That made me chuckle. That was one of the first things I saw when I went on board the ship, my first walk. Now behind that is the sports deck, which I didn't film. Right up, you think that's the top? You think we got to the top? We haven't got to the top yet. It's not where you start, it's where you finish, and we're going to finish on top, because if you go around this corner, more sun lounges. Obviously, quite transatlantic cruises, as I was saying earlier, but they have plenty in reserve. If you really want to go to the top, you can climb up there. That is not me. I did film him because he's got a helmet on and all behind him. That's the very top of the ship, and that was just entering into Bermuda. So for the eagle-eyed of you, that's Bermuda's flag. Thank you so much for watching. As I said, on the screen now is a link to the playlist of everything I've filmed and edited on the Norwegian Pearl. If you've got any questions about cruising on the Norwegian Pearl, please don't hesitate to ask in the comments. I will do my best to help and answer if I can. Anyway, look at that sunset. What a beautiful way to finish. Thank you so much for watching, and happy travels.